Alright, I just have to give you my commentary on this article from the 8th of April in our local propaganda paper, the Gazette, which they now give out free because they want to make sure everybody gets their daily dose of propaganda. Gazette, compassion at $10 a gram. That's right. It's about medical marijuana. It says here, pot shop, LaChine club not aiding sick, neighbors say. Ah, well, the neighbors ought to know. A recently opened compassion center in LaChine that purports to sell medical marijuana to the ill is sowing discord among neighbors and local merchants who say it's attracting hordes of healthy-looking young buyers. Well, if they look healthy, they can't possibly have a condition that can be treated with marijuana, right? People seem to think that in order to have a condition that you can treat with marijuana, you have to be like on your deathbed, like you have to have like really bad cerebral palsy or MS or cancer, like terminal stage cancer or AIDS or something. So they think that you have to look sick to go to the compassion center, but maybe they have menstrual cramps or migraines or arthritis or something, or maybe they look healthy because they're using marijuana to treat their condition. It goes on to say, it's so bad. No one going into that place is in need of compassion, said the owner of a business on Notre Dame Street around the corner. What kind of a statement is that to make? I mean, everybody's in need of compassion. It's like the reporters went around to all the people in the neighborhood to get their commentary, and then they took the most inane, ridiculous comments that they could find and put those on the front page of the Gazette. Because they know that most people aren't going to read the whole article. They're just going to read the little blurb on the front page, and based on that, they're going to form their opinions on the matter. So they took like the biggest garbage they could find and crammed it all in together in this little section. And this wise local store owner goes on to say, I wouldn't mind if it was legal, but it's so obviously not. I mean, really, you have to go upstairs to get in. It's upstairs, so it must be illegal. Well, gee, by that logic, the shoemaker across the street from me must be illegal too. And he says, there isn't even wheelchair access. Well, my husband uses a wheelchair, so I can personally attest to the fact that there isn't wheelchair access to a lot of places, and that doesn't make them legal. Merchants complain that buyers loiter in front of their stores, deterring customers and taking parking spaces in a part of a borough that's already economically depressed. So not only are they young and healthy looking, they don't need compassion, and the place is upstairs, but they're taking your parking spaces. Okay, on the second page with the big article, they go on to explain that to be able to get your pot at the Compassion Club, you have to either have a note from a doctor that says you have a condition that's treatable with marijuana, or you have to have a letter stamped by and signed by a notary, something like that. So it's not like you can just walk in there and buy weed. Here's another problem with having the Compassion Center. They say others worry the center, connected to a pastry shop and near a daycare, could be the target of firebombing by dope dealers who don't appreciate the competition. Okay, so yeah, usually the marijuana trade is in the hands of the Hells Angels. A business opens up and tries to sell it legitimately. They might get firebombed by the Hells Angels who don't like the competition. Solution? Leave all the marijuana business in the hands of the Hells Angels. There you go. Problem solved. No more firebombings. And what does the mayor have to say about all this? He says, if it's a matter of compassion, we're in favor of that, but I don't think it's a matter of compassion. I've seen kids between 15 and 20 years old going in there. Well, I highly doubt it. You know, once you're like over 35, everyone who's under 30 looks like a kid to you, and the mayor is probably in his 40s, so how does he know how old those people are? I mean, maybe they're 22 or 23 and he thinks they're 18, because he's old. And just because you're young doesn't mean that you don't have a condition that might be treatable with medical marijuana. I mean, you could have lupus, or you could have menstrual cramps, or something else, you know? What does age have to do with it? Like, nothing? This is not because I'm a pothead. I'm not, actually. I don't even use pot. But, you know, it has nothing to do with me. There's absolutely no reason for pot to be illegal. It's a medicinal plant. What? Because it gets you high? Well, that's a stupid argument, because they sell alcohol. Is going to give you cancer? Well, that's never been proven whatsoever. Actually, it's been shown that it can treat cancer in mice. They showed it it actually like got rid of their tumors. So they sell cigarettes anyway, and those things give you cancer. Oh, right. It's a threat to the pharma industry and the plastics industry and the paper industry and the textiles and a lot of things like that. It's very good for the planet and it's good for people, but it's a threat to big businesses that damage the planet and people. So you can't have that. So let's just leave it in the hands of the Hells Angels, and that'll keep the cops busy busting the Hells Angels. It'll keep the Hells Angels happy, and we won't have any fire bombings. This article was just such a blatant piece of propaganda that after reading it, I feel nauseous and I have a headache, and I may actually need some medical marijuana to deal with the effects of reading this article.